To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. Video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey, Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a delivery center. Coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carl.
Got to get to some breaking news out of the sports world now. ESPN confirming to NBC it's cutting ties with its NFL commentator Shannon Sharpe. The move coming after Sharpe, of course, the Hall of Fame tight end, settled a lawsuit accusing him of sexual assaults and battery.
Shannon just did a Diddy mistake.
Shannon Sharpe's name got wiped off ESPN's talent page. Like, poof, gone without a word. And just like that, the same week, a $50 million lawsuit quietly locked down behind closed doors. But ESPN messed up one major thing. They underestimated Shannon because now he's clapping back. Hard. He's threatening to spill the tea on sealed deals, secret recordings, and execs who straight up ghosted him right before his brother's biggest career moment. And let's be real, nobody wants to say this out loud. There was no trial, no guilty verdict, just hush money, a sealed case, and then a disappearing act. But this ain't just about a firing. Insiders are whispering that Shannon witnessed some shady stuff behind the scenes at ESPN. And now, he's teasing that he's got proof, real receipts that could flip the whole script. Shannon wasn't just any commentator, he had the game on lock. He walked away from S1's Undisputed like a boss, leaving Skip Bayless spinning in his chair. The internet was living for it. Then boom, he slides into First Take with Stephen A. Smith and The Vibe. Instant classic. It felt like he was finally getting the love he always deserved. No more backhanded drama, no more side-eye tension. But then, bam! Just months later, ESPN acts like he never existed. No send-off, no statement, no respect, just scrubbed his name off the site like he was never part of the family. And here's where it starts to really smell fishy. Because right before ESPN did the Digital Disappearing Act, something big hit the fan. In April 2025, a woman filed a civil lawsuit against Shannon asking for $50 million. Not long after, total silence, no trial, no outcome, just a massive storm, then total blackout. You see where this is going? Shannon's not playing nice anymore. He's got something to say, and it sounds like ESPN's terrified of what he might drop next. It wasn't a criminal case, but the accusations? Heavy. The woman said Shannon assaulted her, manipulated her, emotionally broke her down, and she swore she had the audio to back it all up. This wasn't just drama. It had the potential to destroy everything he built. But Shannon didn't run or hide. He got on his podcast and called it exactly what he believed it was, a shakedown. He admitted the relationship was wild, sure, but he said it was mutual, complicated, and most importantly, consensual, not criminal. Meanwhile, ESPN, dead silent. Not a word, no statement, no comment, no support. They didn't defend him, didn't condemn him, they didn't even mention him. It was like he just vanished overnight. But Shannon, he wasn't about to sit back and take it. He clapped back legally and filed a lawsuit of his own. Here's where the plot flips. That $50 million case, it never even made it to trial. 3 months later, bam, it was quietly settled behind closed doors. No press, no court showdown, no public closure. Just a sealed settlement and a dismissed with prejudice stamp, which means it can't legally be brought up again, ever. But let's be real, those sealed papers came with a price tag. You already know that hit his bank account hard. And to the public, settling only made him look more guilty. The streets started whispering. Even DJ Academics chimed in, saying Shannon needs to watch his next move carefully. Not even a full 24 hours before Shannon Sharpe's big bro, Sterling, was set to get inducted into the Hall of Fame, literally the proudest moment in their entire family's history. ESPN pulled the trigger. That's when they chose to drop the bomb and cut ties. Let that marinate for a second. Shannon begged them to wait. That's all he asked. Just hold off a day so his brother's shine wouldn't get buried. But nah, they dumped the news right before the gold jacket ceremony, knowing damn well every headline would be about Shannon, not Sterling. After decades of hard work, this was supposed to be their moment. And if you think that was just an oops in timing, think again. That move was personal. Shannon opened up about it on Nightcap, and you could hear the pain in his voice. He was cracking, emotional, trying to hold it together. He said the worst part wasn't even what ESPN did to him. It was watching his brother's once-in-a-lifetime moment get hijacked. He wasn't mad about getting dropped. He said that straight up. but he was heartbroken for his brother. But ESPN didn't blink. No sympathy, no second thought. And just when people were still piecing that together, boom, another headline explodes. According to Front Office Sports, there was another incident years back when Shannon was still at FS1. A female staffer accused him of choking her. Never hit the news back then, because it was swept under the rug. No court case, no charges, just a hush-hush settlement rumored to be worth hundreds of thousands. Shannon's team brushed it off, saying it was playful. But come on now, this ain't flag football. This ain't the Michelle from Shannon's flirty IG lives. This Michelle, whole different story. But let's break this down. When the allegations hit back in April, ESPN didn't say a single word. Shannon's name stayed right there on their website like nothing ever happened. It was other companies, not ESPN, that started reacting first. Even Stephen A. Smith had to jump on his own podcast and reveal that he personally called Disney's top boss to get clarity. So what changed? Why fire Shannon after the case was already settled? Why play it cool during the chaos, then cut him off once things cooled down? Because they were never in his corner. ESPN wasn't supporting him. They were stalling, just biding their time, waiting for the headlines to fade before they made their quiet little move. And when they did, no drama, no press, no leaks, just a silent wipe from the website like he never existed. But here's where they miscalculated. They thought Shannon would just eat it. Take the hit, pocket the payout, disappear quietly into retirement. But nah, Shannon's not playing that game. Now he's out here on podcasts, dropping hints like he's holding something nuclear. Receipts? Stories? Oh, he's got plenty. And if he goes all in, ESPN won't be the only name sweating. See, he's not just mad, he's offended. After everything he did for them, boosting ratings, bringing fire to First Take, becoming a fan favorite, they tossed him like trash. No loyalty, no respect. And now, Shannon's talking like a man who's got nothing left to lose. That's dangerous, because what he's hinting at, it's bigger than just one case, bigger than one executive. This ain't just about clearing his name. This is about exposing everything ESPN tried to keep hidden. Don't forget who we're talking about. Shannon Sharpe spent decades moving through locker rooms, boardrooms, production sets, you name it. He's not just a retired athlete turned commentator. He's an insider. He's seen the power plays, the cover-ups, the favoritism, the ugly truth they never wanted out. Shannon Sharpe has always played chess, not checkers. When he fought to get out of his FS1 contract with Skip Bayless, it wasn't just about beef, it was about strategy. He knew he was leveling up. And when he landed at ESPN, ratings went through the roof. But here's what most folks don't know. That messy, undisputed split, that wasn't just personal. It was a red flag, a warning shot. Shannon was done letting powerful white execs muzzle him, mold him, and manage him like a puppet. And if ESPN thought they could treat him the way Skip did, that was mistake number one, because fans have been peeping game for months. Shannon's been dropping little clues, subtle jabs, quiet warnings. And let's be honest, he's not the first high-profile name ESPN let go under shady circumstances. Let's run it down. Jamali Hill, fired for speaking on racism and calling out Trump. Michelle Beadle, shoved out the door after clashing with higher-ups over how the NBA was covered. She even said it herself. This didn't feel good. I've been in the game 20 years, and this still hit different. Then there's Mark Jackson, allegedly blackballed for standing on his moral beliefs behind the scenes. See the pattern yet? Because the second someone gets too real, too bold, too uncontrollable, especially when they're black, they get the boot. Cut clean. And now, Shannon's supporters are calling it exactly what it feels like: racism. People are saying they did this to him because he's black. Let that sink in. And Shannon? He wasn't just opinionated. He was unfiltered, untamed. He wouldn't play the corporate game. And that's what scared ESPN the most. Now here's the part they really don't want you hearing. Word on the street is, this wasn't some random HR move. ESPN didn't just wake up one day and decide to cut ties. They waited until the lawsuit was wrapped up real neat. No courtroom drama, no legal mess. So Shannon couldn't talk reckless while still cashing them ESPN checks. Clean break, cold move. But insiders are saying Shannon had already started stirring the pot behind closed doors, asking the kind of questions that make execs real uncomfortable. Like, who really gets protected in that building? And who gets sacrificed when things go sideways? Now, none of this is officially confirmed, but the whispers? Wild. Word is, Shannon started noticing a pattern. Black analysts slowly getting replaced by safe faces, execs moving funny around female staff, and hush-hush scandals getting buried before the public even knew they existed. Shannon wasn't just showing up in a suit and reading cue cards. He was in the meetings, in the negotiations, watching in real time as producers killed segments the second they got too real, then that lawsuit dropped. And fans expected Stephen A. Smith to have his boys back. But instead, Stephen gave the driest, most PR-flavored statement imaginable. Sounded like it was written by a legal team. That's when Shannon realized nobody at ESPN was writing for him, not even Stephen. It was every man for himself. But here's the twist. Shannon didn't need ESPN anymore. He already had the streets. Club Shay Shay was pulling in millions of views per episode, and his new show with Chad Ochocinco, Nightcap, was blowing up. He had the culture in his corner. And rumor has it, there was a $100 million podcast deal already on the table before the lawsuit even hit. Word on the street? Amazon and YouTube have been lurking around Shannon's brand for months now, watching the numbers, watching the reach, and waiting to make their move. And that right there? That's ESPN's worst nightmare. Because if Shannon really decides to open the vault and spill what he's seen behind closed doors, it's gonna get messy fast. Insiders claim he's been in the rooms where the real deals go down, heard the unfiltered convos, seen the ugly truth that never makes the news. From alleged racial bias behind the scenes to executive-level scandals that got swept way under the rug, if Shannon ever goes full savage and tells everything he knows, it's curtains for more than a few careers. And now the whispers are turning into real talk. He might be gearing up to launch his own Black-owned sports media empire. Picture it, part sports talk, part culture, part raw chaos, and all under his control. No bosses, no censors, just straight truth. And if that happens, ESPN might end up competing against the same man they tried to quietly erase. So yeah, the lawsuit might be wrapped. But the real drama? Oh, it's just heating up. Shannon's not waiting for their mic. He's got his own now, and the whole world's listening. Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and stay tapped in. Because trust me, this story is far from over. See you in the next one.